Para business leaders dan intellectual business community, kita jumpa lagi dalam acara CEO Reference. Kali ini kita akan membahas tentang Indonesia's advantage for multinationals. Karena kita membicarakan tentang apa yang dibutuhkan oleh multinationals untuk Indonesia, maka kita akan menjalankan episode ini dalam bahasa Inggris. So, ladies and gentlemen, business leaders and intellectual business communities, we are not taking a Harvard Business Review article for this episode, but we want to update our situations of Indonesia in the view of multinationals. Sometimes we as Indonesian people think that we have opened up and we have given our best to our foreign investors to come here, but then the most important thing is that we need to listen to them. What is actually important for them, and what makes them want to come to Indonesia, and what factors that can make them stay in Indonesia, not pull away from Indonesia, and even attract more colleagues or companies coming into Indonesia. That's why we think that this is important, especially because we have just installed a new cabinet. We have a new presidency for the next 5 years. And we have a lot of expectations. We have high expectations that this 5 years terms will be much better than the previous terms in terms of performance. So with all these considerations, we invited these two gentlemen, Mr. Jason Will from Santa Fe Relocation Service. Please welcome Mr. Jason. Mr. Jason is the Managing Director of Santa Fe Relocation Service, and more than that, Santa Fe is a multinational itself, but the business of Santa Fe is also helping the foreigners to come in and out of this country, to relocate, to find schools for their children, and to adapt themselves to Indonesia. So Jason might have not only his view, but also can see the trends happening in the market, because he's the one who deals with these foreigners coming in and out. And also we have Mr. Norio Yamazaki. He's the president of Sojitz. Please welcome Mr. Yamazaki.
Thank you very much.
Sojitz is a very big trading company of Japan. I think it's number 6 in Japan, right?
Yeah.
And in your industry, including the Mitsui, the Mitsubishi trading, in the same category of industry.
Right.
Sojitz revenue, if I'm not mistaken, is about 500 trillion rupiah, if it is rupiah.
Quite
globally,
nearly $50 billion.
A little bit more than that, even. So it's very huge, and we are very happy to have Sojitz also operating in Indonesia, because then we know that if we do good, then very big potential of business can be run from Indonesia, and we know that it's a very big opportunity for Indonesia. So Mr. Yamazaki and Jason, thank you for coming and to share with us your views. This is for us to know better from your point of view, so that we can be a better host for you here in Indonesia. So, despite all these advantages and disadvantages that you might have in Indonesia, also in other countries as well, you have decided to operate in Indonesia. It means that there are some factors that attracted you to first open up your business here. I mean, we want to know exactly what are the factors that made you decided to first operate in Indonesia. The factors that might be becoming better later on, or becoming worse, that makes you reconsider to do business in Indonesia. But in the first place, what is the factors that make your company decided to open up the business in Indonesia? Maybe Mr. Yamazaki first.
Okay. As one of Japanese trading and investment companies, we have been working here, operating here more than 50 years already. So to answer your question, maybe I may have to explain that the history of our activities in Indonesia, okay? I believe lots of Japanese trading companies, so-called Somo Shosha, came to Indonesia mainly to utilize, the abundant resources.
The abundant resources.
Yeah, so their original type of business was starting, say, kind of export of resources from here.
What are the products the abundance in?
Coal or gas, mineral
resources.
or even or various kinds of resources.
Okay.
So in that sense, to the Japanese trading companies, or one of foreign investors, I think most say strongest attractiveness in Indonesia was resources,
All right.
quite
the natural resources.
Natural resources. Yes, yes.
All right. And for you, Jason, I mean, what made your company decided to open up business here? You think that there's a trend of influx of so many foreigners that be business for you, or what?
Actually, I mean, Santa Fe is almost by default. I mean, in 2001, Santa Fe had an opportunity to purchase an organization in Asia called Global Silverhawk. They have operations in 5 or 6 different countries in Asia where Santa Fe did not, one of them being Jakarta. And so the company decided that if we looked at the map of Asia and we were expanding organization, here was a very quick way to expand our network offices in key locations. And Jakarta in Indonesia has always been a key location on the map in Asia. So it was a good opportunity for us, a very easy vehicle to establish ourselves as an operation here in Indonesia.
Why you consider Jakarta as the key site for Asia?
I just think, and the factors haven't changed, the fact that you have an extremely large population base, you have a lot of resources, oil and gas and so forth, strategically located in Southeast Asia. And I think when you take if you look at the map of Asia, I mean, Indonesia's strategically located and a good place to potentially do business. And for us, as you mentioned earlier, our business is servicing multinational companies as they move into new locations, as they move their expatriate staff into locations. So I think at that time we were already seeing the fact that Indonesia is well represented with multinational companies here, and it was a good place for us to do business.
You see that, I mean, do you see that these factors, that Jakarta being the center of Asia business, becoming stronger, or you see that there are now other sites becoming, faster developing rather than Jakarta?
Sure. Well, to be honest, I mean, having been in Asia for 8 years, I've worked in China and I've worked in Singapore and I've worked in Indonesia. The trend in the last 8 to 12 years, firstly, has been China. Everybody wants to be there. If they're not there, they want to sit up there. So China's been the very much forefront of companies moving into new markets, and that's happened. India came shortly after that. Companies that weren't in India then wanted to set up in India. So the situation as of today is that you've had companies who decided 5 or 10 years ago to move into China. They've done that. They've established themselves. They decided they also need to be in India, and they've done that. And so now when they look at places of potential in this part of the world, Indonesia all of a sudden has been elevated up to the top of the list. So now the companies that are already established in China, already established in India, are looking for the country which they see as the most potential for the future. All of a sudden Indonesia is a place that they're looking at and in fact moving into.
So how do you rate the Jakarta or Indonesia being better rather than compared to the other countries? I mean, China has been developing so fast. I think we should say that China is developing faster than any country in the world. Including Indonesia, including Jakarta. But there are also, like India is developing very fast. Vietnam is developing very fast, and even let's say Bangladesh is developing very fast. How do you see this pace compared with Indonesia pace?
Sure.
What do you see, Jason?
Well, I mean, you look at Indonesia as it is today. I mean, apart from being the fourth largest populous nation in the world, 230 million people, you've got a large customer base there. We are seeing an emerging company with a very stable democracy. In fact, it's the third largest democracy in the world after India and the US.
Yes.
So all of a sudden, I mean, Indonesia for years, in my experience of doing business, was considered a risky place to do business. You had to be adventurous to go there. There was lots of potential issues and problems, and countries like the Philippines and Thailand were getting considered over Indonesia. I see that's reversed over the last 5 to 8 years, that they see Indonesia as being a stable democracy, and probably one of the more stable democracies in this part of Asia. So
risk-wise, Indonesia is improving very much.
It's improved. I mean, it's always been considered a risky place to do business, and I think now they look at least know that there's for the next 5 years with the new government, they've got a stable government in place for the next 5 years. So it's continuity of policy. So I think the signals, the indicators for being positive are there, stronger than ever they have been before.
All right. For next, maybe I will ask Mr. Yamazaki about the things that attracted your company coming here is the natural resources, and could be that the natural resources, when the first time you operated here compared to now, might have a lot of changes. But we have to have a little break before we come to the next segment.
I can share almost the same feeling about say latest situation in Indonesia. As Mr. Will explained, yes, we maybe 50 years ago or historically we started from that export type of business of natural resources, but nowadays we can enjoy that quite a big domestic market to 40 million population.
Okay. Mr. Yamazaki, I think you have quite a long story about this, but we have to break a while for the next segment. So intellectual business community and business leaders, we have to break for a while. And for you who want to participate, to raise questions, to give comments, please SMS to 0896 times 788. See you for the next segment.